AAA, or authentication, authorization, and accounting, is another important feature inside of our data centers. So now that we've assigned users to different roles, we need to be able to keep track and monitor and account for how our users are accessing our devices. It's very hard to do that on an individual device-by-device basis. So many times we require a central database that we can authenticate against that'll give us authorization and will track who is using which device. And AAA is the feature that allows us to do that. It can do it with multiple protocols such as Radius or TACACS+, and it's based on the user ID and password combination that you provide, and it will authenticate against one of these databases. AAA security provides the following services. First of all, it provides authentication, or a way to identify users, including logins and passwords, and can do it in a number of very secure ways, as well as ways that are encrypted. Authorization actually provides the access control, or what we have access to on the device, for instance, based on what group you're in. A network admin may have more rights than a network operator, and AAA, through authorization, provides us that access control. Another important feature inside of a production data center is to be able to account for people's actions. And in this case, we can actually collect information from the device saying who made the change, what change they made, and send that to a centralized database in order to keep track of that. In this case, you could use that to audit a trail for security compliance. You could use it, for instance, for billing or reporting to upper management. In order to turn on AAA, what we first have to do, once again, is enable the feature. Here's a sample configuration where we are turning on feature TACACS+. We are then defining certain roles. We're giving it a way to interact with the server by providing a server key and telling it which servers it will be interacting with by providing it TACACS server host and the IP address. We are then telling it what to track and how to track the different types of logins on the device. For instance, whether we're going to require a login or AAA for the console access versus somebody that's connecting over SSH. We're also telling the device how to contact that AAA server and what VRF to use in order to do that. Once again, which network, whether I'm using the default data network or whether I'm using the management network. So there's a couple different configuration steps that you need. And like I mentioned, this is a sample of what you might do on your own network. But it's important to know exactly what AAA does, why it's there, and why people need that. The other thing that's important to note is that you always want to use the backup local database on your device. So for instance, if the AAA server isn't able to be accessed, you don't want to be locked out of your device. You want to actually use the local database on the device as a backup. And that is configurable as well in the configuration. That concludes Lesson 14. Please join us for our next lesson.